Yeah, alright, so we back. We back.
If you look earlier on my channel, there's a lot of videos from The Last of Us, the first season, where I tried to, I guess, break down the season in like a minute or whatever. They were honestly bullshit episodes, for real. I was just trying my best, you know what I'm saying, make sure I could try to stay consistent with like being able to actually like make videos, not necessarily focusing on the quality of it. But I've, reeled back from that approach, and now we're just gonna lock in and go straight forward. So with that being said, we are here with season 2 of The Last of Us, and so it starts off like this, where it's basically recapping the end of, I was about to say the first game, the first season, whatever you want to say. And we're at this part where the first game ended, and they're about to start their new life after Joel told Ellie that there was nothing the firefighters could do. So here's where we at with that part, and honestly, it's just a bunch of recapping until you get further on into the show. I'm not gonna lie, a lot of this episode was, at least at the beginning, just a bunch of world building, fan service or whatever. Feel about it however you want to feel, but I was just sitting here, waiting for the action to, start. Even, of course, because I know what's gonna happen, but I'm just, letting things go how, how they want them to go. And it's just, it was a little slow at first. That's all. It was just slow. It was just a bunch of, hey, there's Abby. Hey, there's Dina. Just a bunch of shit like that. And it's like, I'm just trying to, get to the action. The game started off like that. So just trying to see, where things go. That's all. I bring this scene up because I think it's important, because it shows, like I said, this is still part of the world building, but it shows that, Joel and Dina had, some connection there to be able to establish some type of relationship where they can even have the conversation about Ellie. Obviously, Joel cares about her. Obviously, Dina cares about her. So this is one of those things where, that mutual love for somebody, brings two people to a point where, they can establish some type of, bond. I think it's cool that pieces like this and the therapy scene, which I'll get to in a little bit, I think it's good that stuff like this are included in the episode just to show a little bit of variance from the actual game. When you got adaptations, you want to take some pieces and try to flesh them out into their own ways to where we can, develop some additional pieces of dialogue that actually make sense. I think this is one of those things. Shows just a little backstory, shows how much he cared about not being able to have that relationship with Ellie, shows how much Dina actually paid attention to that. So pieces like this, I appreciate that. So this scene right here, interesting. Very interesting. I think anytime you got a piece or something being shown in the show that wasn't in the game, fans are gonna judge it very, very, very strict. But I thought this scene was interesting because in this scene, this is the therapist, and in this scene, she reveals that she was the wife of Eugene. Now, from what I can remember, Eugene was mentioned a lot throughout like the notes in the game. Now I could be wrong. Y'all please correct me in the comments if I'm wrong. I'm just, going off what I remember. And he's not even really necessarily shown. I imagine they're gonna show him in the show, but he's not even really shown to the point where you have a feeling of who Eugene is, unless you was really heavy into like because when you play games, you have like that aspect of playing games where they tell the story not only through the actual story, but you might see like notes and other things that you see throughout the game. This is one of those things where his story was kind of told through like notes that you would find scattered throughout the game. And she mentions later on that Joel killed that nigga. I don't remember Joel necessarily killing Eugene. I think, damn, what happened to him? Did he? I think it was a stroke, wasn't it? It was something like that. I could be wrong. Look, like I said, y'all please correct me in the comments if I'm wrong. But all I know is that this is a little, pizzazz added on to the show to make it more interesting. And I say that it does make it interesting, and I bring it up because I wonder where this goes. Obviously, the therapist is not a dumbass, and not only does she have, well, not only is she a dumbass, not only is she not a dumbass, but she harbors resentment for Joel because of that, which relates to later on when they were having the party or they was doing the function, and you know the thing happened and it was a bunch of commotion and Joel went to go help Ellie out and Ellie fussed at him. The therapist was right there and she was able to see, and you could tell even after letting Joel know how she felt, which was also a way of trying to get him to open up as well. You could tell that she, I guess, in that moment could realize just how strong or deep or whatever they had going on really was. I wonder if there's going to be some more with this, and what I mean by with this, I mean with Gail and Joel's like thing. I wonder if they show some backstory with him and Eugene since he killed the nigga. I mean, I'm trying to figure out, what's going on. If I had to guess just off of what I think might happen, it's gonna be one of those things where, because I think she mentions like, hey, I know you had to do it, but I hate you for it. That right there says that he must have got infected or whatever, and Joel had to do what he had to do. I wonder if something happened, right? And Eugene ended up figuring out that Ellie herself is immune. And once he figured that out, you know what happens. He probably threatened to do this, do that, or whatever. And the only thing Joel could do was eliminate him. You know what I mean? Because Gail, who was the therapist, she said he could tell her anything and she would believe it. Well, not that she wouldn't believe it. I guess she would accept it and understand or whatever, but he can't tell her that shit. He can't tell her that Ellie's immune and that's the, all the backstory with that. He can't say that. So, I don't know. Like, that's just gonna be one of them things, like I said, that's interesting. We're just gonna see it unfold. The interaction with these three right here is also low-key kinda The only like legit person I feel like that's really like killing it, like with the acting thing, is Dina. I feel like she has slightly a little bit of a more lively personality than the actual video game Dina. And obviously my boy is the same from the game, but I'm gonna get into Ellie and Bella Ramsey and all that later on, so I'll just save that.
Just her?
Alright.
Just her.
So this scene right here speaks to a lot of what I want to get into later. I ain't gonna say it, I'm gonna save it to the end of my video. But this scene right here speaks to a lot of what I got to get onto later. I just want to ask y'all, like, is that Ellie to y'all? Like, I was looking at this scene right here and I was like, man, she really let her dumb ass get big. And yes, obviously we know what's going on, but still, that to me just screams like carelessness, like just bullshit, just not being locked in. And I don't know, that's just not Ellie to me. As far as the scene goes, this isn't exactly one-to-one from the game. I remember this one. I definitely remember her falling through the floor, but if I'm not mistaken, I think her and Dina fell through the floor. So they was both trying to escape. This one shows it's just her, and Dina found her or whatever, and that's that. So yeah.
Maybe.
Oh, what about the other 6 that brought down the grizzly?
What's up with the smart one shit right here? What's up with this? Oh, this one's the smart one. Like, I thought it's like widely known that if like the clickers aren't like fully turned, like they still have some sense of like being there to the point where they can kind of do these things and even have some counterplay, like, hey, I see you trying to get me, I'm gonna try to get you type shit. So I don't know. I mean, like I said, maybe that's something from the game I don't remember. I ain't played this shit since it dropped back in 2020, but that to me just seems like redundant to the entire whole thing. It's like, oh, this one's a little alert. It's like, man, what the fuck? Shouldn't y'all be going out there on some like, yo, don't be taking any chances. Don't, you know what I'm saying, be bullshitting out here. Don't be playing around and let them try to sneak up on you and do this, do that, da. Like, shouldn't y'all always be locked in? I don't know, man. Maybe that's just me, but I find this part hard to believe, personally. So this one right here, this whole scene, matter of fact, from right here all the way to the end, fire. And maybe it's because like this is one of the few things I've seen. Well, I mean, it's only season 1. What the fuck? It's only episode 2, but just going back to, you know, things that I can remember about season 1 or whatever. This is definitely one of the truest one-to-one moments they've had so far. Like, this is kind of A1 to what the video game had. Obviously, everybody remembers that infamous, what was it, at E3? What was it, like 2018? I don't know. Everybody remembers when they showed this, promoting The Last of Us Part 2. And, shit. Shit. Well, there it go. There it fucking go. Alright. So, it looks like, just from going off that right there, we all know what the next episode is going to be. That moment's going to happen. At least within the next 2 episodes. You know, sometimes they might, you know what I'm saying, try to stretch it out, try to see what they could do. But that moment's coming for sure. And I wonder how they're going to do it. Are they going to exaggerate it? Are they going to make it quick? I mean, it says TV, so, you know, but yeah. This might not be the best review. I honestly say that. I'm honestly just yapping about, you know, what I saw, but is that not a review? I'm definitely gonna get better at the structure of it. Try to figure out ways, and y'all let me know in the comments below, man. How should I structure it? How should I do it? How do y'all like seeing y'all reviews? You know, just let me know. You know what I'm saying? Give me some feedback. Let me know how it was. What I really want to get into, though, the point that I really want to talk about, though, what I really want to talk about is, though, how we feeling about Ellie? How we feeling about, well, not Ellie, how we feeling about Bella Ramsey playing Ellie? You know, this entire episode, I got the feel that maybe she just ain't Ellie. And I know that sounds weird, but season 1, I never had an issue with how she was playing Ellie. I think it seemed hella appropriate. It seemed cool. You know, everything was fine. The, I guess, jokes and, for a lack of a better word, I guess, immaturity. I mean, she's a kid, obviously, but, you know, like that, I guess that free willing nature was there when Ellie was a kid in the first season, in part 1, whatever you want to say. It was there, and it makes sense. But as coming from somebody who obviously played part 2, beat part 2, understands the story very well, I'm looking at Ellie in this entire episode, and it's not flying for me. Like, I don't believe it. And that's not to say anything about Bella Ramsey's talent as an actor or actress. Like, I think, great. I have no problem with her. I think she's very talented. But this role of Ellie, I'm not feeling so far. For the first episode. Now, this could change. But as of right now, the tone is just, it's still like the kid that was in season 1. It's still like young Ellie. Like, I remember playing part 2, and Ellie was not like this. Even in the even in the times where, you know, she would joke around or whatever, there was still like a very mature vibe to her. Like, she was definitely someone who was locked in, took her shit seriously, was not bullshitting. I don't get that sense of relatability or whatever. I don't get that sense from Bella Ramsey's version of Ellie. It's just not Ellie, you know? I'm not even trying to be controversial or whatever in saying that, but at the beginning when she was practicing and they was like fighting or whatever, and the dude was like they took it easy on her or whatever, and she was like, don't pull no punches or whatever. Like, what the fuck is that? The Ellie I know is not that. You wouldn't have to do that for the Ellie I know from the game. You know what I'm saying? Like, you wouldn't have to do that. Like, she's the badass. She's the one that you gotta tell to go easy on somebody, because that's the way that they put her. They put her in that light. Like, she's the ultimate, like, warrior out that bitch. And I like that. I like that. That's what I know of. That's what I'm fond of when it comes to the story. But looking at Ellie right here, it's like she's joking around way too much. Like I said, her dumb ass got bit. That's not Ellie. I don't know. It just feels funny, and I feel some type of way about it. Am I gonna sit here and boycott and stop watching the show? No. Am I gonna even voice my opinion or whatever, and you know, all that shit y'all be doing, going on Twitter and start harassing fucking producers and writers of the show? No, it's never that serious, bruh. I just want to, you know, let my opinion be known that, man, maybe this just ain't the Ellie we all wanted, which is cool. I mean, because like I said, it could change. Maybe that's intentional. Maybe after the moment, we'll get a more hardened, serious Ellie, and then we'll be able to see, you know, her character develop in that way. Even though she was already there in the original source material. I don't know. Look, but that's all I got for today, man. Look, like I said, y'all go ahead and leave something in the comments below. Let me know how y'all want it structured better. I'll try to do this way better the next episode or whatever, but I also kind of just enjoy just yapping, talking to y'all. You know what I'm saying? Just the cool shit. So, look, man, y'all go ahead and leave some feedback in the comments below. Let that be that. I'm going to catch y'all next time, man. Y'all be safe.